All right, let's talk meal planning in week 3 of our self-quarantining for the pandemic. I had a coaching client ask me last night, she's like, hey, Heather, I know, you talk about taking as much control as you can of your situation, but right now I feel super out of control because everything I would normally buy my family, all of my normal go-to staples, are really hard to come by. And I'm having to have my groceries shipped to my house via these different stores, and I'm kind of subject to what they have available. And I told her, you have to change your thinking. There is normal circumstance meal planning, meaning everything is open, operational, you're going to your job and coming home. And then there is, I'm quarantined, there's a limit on a lot of foods, and I'm having to have things brought to me. So the first thing I want you to do is take a deep breath and drop the shoulds. No, you should not be worrying about how many necessarily grams of protein are on your plate at every given meal. What you want to focus on is looking in your pantry, in your fridge, in your freezer, assess what you have. See what things you need to add to it to balance it out. So if you do have beans, maybe you try to order some rice so you have a complete protein. You have beans, rice, and maybe some canned green beans, right? Your goal here is, one, tracking, if you're a tracker, or focusing on hitting your calorie target. If you're concerned about your weight, if you're concerned about coming out of this maintaining your weight, your calories are the most important thing. Macros are the next level up. You do not need to stress on these current circumstances on hitting all of your macros, because what she noticed was her carbs were way higher and her protein was way lower. And that's going to be the case for a lot of us. I'm having a hard time finding meat too, so I'm going to be looking at cooking a lot more bean dishes myself. You've got to eat, okay? And as long as you're eating within a calorie window that's either maintenance or loss or whatever it is you're going for here, that's the most important thing. And so if it's beans and rice, right, versus grilled chicken and sauteed veggies, yes, the macro composition is going to be different, but you can still hit an appropriate calorie target. What I would recommend for people who might have to go more the beans and rice territory, see if you can get some frozen vegetables, chop them up and throw them in there to add some bulk. Because I do know that the quantity of, say, beans and rice might visually be a lot less. So thinking about what can I do to secure the fact that I'm going to feel content and satisfied, right? But one of the things I want to encourage you to do the best you can to make sure you got some version of a protein on your plate in whatever quantity you can. Make sure that you've got some kind of good, healthy, starchy carb, brown rice, sweet potato, whatever. And then try to get some kind of vegetable in if you can. And this is going to greatly depend on where you live, what you got access to, what you already stockpiled, all of that good business. But I just wanted to come in and just talk about how, over time, we're going to have to tweak what we're doing to support where we are. Think about the Great Depression. They ever got everything rationed to them, right? And they had to eat, they had to feed their family. And it would be great if they could have eaten this particular way. But the reality is that situation did not set them up for that. So we have to think about, while I know we're not in the Great Depression, what we have to think about is, what do I have? What do I have access to? And what is actually feasible for me? And so where's your power and control? One, assess what you got, create a meal plan based on it, find what things you need to add to it to make it as balanced as possible. Two, track your food, journal your food. Do not bring in fun foods because they are more readily available or easier to come by. Try to focus on still eating as well as you can in the given situation. You guys can let the shoulds go. And this, I think, this entire situation highlights why certain more extreme eating plans might not be sustainable for everybody. Because when you fall on these rougher times, whether it's financially or whether it's just availability, there are certain ways of eating that would be very hard to sustain in this current situation. But managing your caloric intake is possible really given any situation. It's just a matter of you kind of tweaking how you eat and what you expect your plate's gonna look like. So I hope this helps. I have another video where I will also share where I talk about how I'm changing up a little bit about what I'm doing based on sale ads and what's available in my area. And I just want to encourage you, do not give up. Continue to budget time for meal planning, continue to budget time for cooking. Just realize those things might look different, and that is okay. You have a great day. I'll talk to you soon.